A good Vinter. Lilu Nishmas Imi Marosi Rizbas Mordechai. Today's shir is sponsored by Paras HaChodesh Shmuly Hecht in honor of Dovid Zlatnik F200, Akiva Sulkowitz F94, Sholom Rand F202, Shmuly Davidowitz B202, and the official 8-minute Daf Yomi committee by Justin Ivri. I finally realized not his real name. Lilu Nishmas Pנחס Aryeh ben Dovid. Chayim. He is the individual, whoever's seen him, I don't know, he ran into the house, dropped off 60 glasses, and kept on going. So if you know what he looks like, if anybody... Oh, I can go back to my video cameras, now I'm thinking. Aha! Okay. Dear Rebelli, Gabriel Rokach says, he's been learning Daf Yomi since Pesachim. Never thought I would be able to hold out this long, but thanks to you, I'm almost finishing my 5th Masechta. I'm not sure if you know what's going on here in England, but the country has gone mad. Everyone has been panic buying petrol, in parentheses, gas, for the past few days. Anyways, his wife told him she needs to fill up the car, so he pulls into line, and he started learning the daf. And his brother says, what are you doing? People are going to cut you off. No. He almost finished the daf. He's just 2 cars away from the petrol station. And the worker comes out and he says, sorry, no more petrol. Then, out of the blue, he looked at my car and said, I'm sure he saw that 8-minute daf magnet or something. He said, go ahead. As I filled my car with petrol, I watched at least 100 cars were turned away. I called my wife and told her, look what learning the daf does. Thank you for all your time and effort to giving these amazing shiurim. Good Yontif. Kultu of Gabriel Rokach, Edgeware, England. Yisrael Goldstein, Mamish Moifsim, Rabbi say Moifsim from the daf. Just sharing a beautiful feeling last night. Listen to this beautiful feeling. Last night I came home late from Muncie, so I was up when the Rebbe started the shir. But about after 20 minutes, I was drifting off. So I went to sleep in the sukkah, but I kept the shir on in bed. There's no better feeling laying in bed in the sukkah and learning about the 3 colors, blue, red, and green. Thanks very much for tucking me into bed. Your favorite Talmud. Now, I told Abi, I'm going to read his very, very first email. It's a very chashav one. He's a big balkish for this kid. Dear Rebelli, I miss you. Come back to Chicago soon. Sincerely, A.B. Joseph. By the way, that kid Akiva, everybody look over there. That kid is an amazing kid. He stayed up twice, at least I saw him in my house, till after 12 a.m. I don't know what his parents are thinking. He's doing sponge on the porch. He'll go and schleps. It's unbelievable what this kid does. Unbelievable. Yeah, have a lot of curse type thing. He cleaned everything from the pizza. He carries the pizza, he runs, he goes down the stairs, up the stairs. He's a machine. Pasha the machine. Unbelievable. And he listens to the daf.
When is that moment?
Boys, seriously, that Sukkot was so unbelievable. I can't believe it's over. No? Every morning. What a... Now it's by you. It's unbelievable. Such beautiful breakfast. And then, I got to say, you know, Shana Rabbah night, I took one for the team. When I was a kid, I was like probably 6-7 years old. My father asked me if I want to go to shul with him or Shana Rabbah. I don't remember the name. In Farakwe, there's a Sulkowitz Rebbe maybe. I don't remember. So there's some Rebbe there, like past the Young Israel. It's on the same block as the Young Israel path. So he said, you want to come? I said, no, I'm too tired. So I went to sleep. And then I woke up. What? No. Bloomkrantz was the other direction. I'm talking about... Right, so Bloomkrantz is that way, Young Israel is in the opposite direction. Anyway, I think it was the Sulkowitz Rebbe, if I'm not mistaken. So, anyway, I wake up in the middle of the night, and I felt really bad, like this remorse. I'm not going to. So I told my mother, I want to go. She didn't know what to do. She had kids at home, she couldn't take me. So she got a taxi. It's probably the first time in my life I went in a taxi by myself. And I said, I'll go to the shul. And this Russia, he stops and he picks up different people. And they were scary looking. This is for Rockaway. They're sitting next to me. Anyway, I went to shul. So then, when I got older, I said to myself, if I made such a sacrifice when I was 6 years old, I got to learn. So I took upon myself kind of like to learn. Everybody does it, but I like to learn at home the whole night. But this Shoshana Rabbah was the exact opposite. Because I was so knocked out, not only did I not learn the whole night, I woke up, the latest I've ever woken up in 3 years. Davening the 9 o'clock minyan. It was unbelievable. So geschmack. Took one for the team. Okay.
Welcome back from Elivi.
Who? Yeah, Tom Elivi. Where were you? But you were here for Yontif. Givaldik. Aryeh, what are you doing here? Welcome, Aryeh. He was here 3 years ago. He's here back. He's back after 3 years. Okay. Wow.
He just wants the mountain. Trying to get a free mark.
All right. So, anyways, it says like this. He sent the YouTube video announcing the sponsorship to the father of the boys. Remember those boys that are having surgery? They had it on Yontif. And the father wrote back, this has brought tears to my eyes. Incredible. Doing this for us is more important than any amount of money. I have watched this video now several times. I'm going to show it to Rafi as well, a 5-year-old who longs to visit Eretz Yisrael. All he talks about is going to Israel one day. I told him he will go someday, I promise. I keep my promises. Anyways, he goes on to say that the shir has ripple effects like you don't know, like the guy that came back from collecting tzedakah, Shmuel, and it inspired him. That story inspired this guy that wrote the email. In different ways. He doesn't want me to say what. It's anonymous. But anyway, wishing yourself, your family, MDY staff, the whole MDY Chevra, a Piska Tova, a year with overabundance of gesund, nachas, parnas, atzlach, and all good things. Apparently, we're not all strangers. Everyone looking out for each other. Kol Yisrael Reim Zelazeh. Maybe zechus through the MDY share in the family, be able to bring all of Klal Yisrael together. B'meher v'yameinu. Again, please have these boys in mind in your tefillas. This procedure is set for this week, Beitzah Hashem. And his grandfather just wrote, I didn't have time to print, but the grandfather of these children said he is now joining the Daf, zechus this whole thing, and he's going to get other people, Beitzah Hashem. All right.
I was told it. Who was Yaakov, that person? Someone,
Ivri told. But there's a Rebbe there. There's a Rebbe. Do we have time to read this? Okay, we'll read it tomorrow. We have more. Beautiful stuff, pictures. Okay. Next time. Rabbi Isai, Gewaldika, easy, light sugya. We're starting a brand new Mishnah. Perfect time to start. Daf Koyach, Chof Ches Amud Aleph. Says the Mishnah, sponsored. Refuas and Yeshuos ben Chana, the official Mishnah. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Sheikel Adam Basar Keneged Akli, Oy Keneged Akoypitz. Okay? In those days, they used to weigh meat. Now, this wasn't easy, this picture. This is Matzeh Yont. I did this. I designed this. The whole thing. There's something in the middle. I put this circle there. I'll show you why in a second. They used to weigh. Now, obviously, back in the day, you know, if you all have seen this, they have these weights that go on this side. Well, that's also. If you could do it with a big shinoi, like putting a nice large knife, a cleaver, then it's okay. Or a kli. You take something that weighs a pound, a soup pot, and you put it on the other side. You never do that in the weekday. So if you do that, then you can do it on Yontif. You can't touch this thing. Don't go close. What does that mean? See, this thing is hanging from the ceiling. You don't want the mice to get to it. So use it as a shelf. You can't even use it as a shelf, say Chacham. You can't use it as a shelf. If it's hanging from this ring on the ceiling, so now it looks like a scale. People don't know why you're putting the meat on there. They think you're putting the meat because you're trying to weigh something on yonder. They don't realize you're trying to protect it from the mice. However, let's say it's laying on the floor, then of course you can put it on the scale. Nobody's going to think anything. So you have a professional. He takes a piece of meat and he said, "Oh, this is 2.4 pounds." And he takes weights and he goes like this. And he realized exactly how much this piece of meat weighs. That I don't need. I need meat and weights. And if he's a pro, he knows how to figure this out. Let's say he has a measuring cup. He fills it up with water. He fills up half. Then he puts a piece of meat into it. and the water goes up a few lines, and then he says, okay, that's 5 pounds. I believe it's very difficult to figure that out. Not everybody can read those lines. You know why? Because the meat has bones, has this, has that. You have to know what you're doing. Think about it. In those days, you bought a piece of meat. How are you schlepping home the piece of meat? They didn't have cardboard boxes. They didn't have plastic bags. How are you schlepping home the piece of meat? They made a nice little handle in the meat. They would cut it out. They cut, stick your hand in, and you grab the piece like a suitcase. You walk in the street. How else? There's no plastic. There's no suitcases. Nothing. I guess they had baskets. They had certain things. Okay. I mean, we have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We live in a... Imagine if they woke up, they came back to this generation, and they'll be in... But even if they go into pomegranate, they see the meat is on a thing, and it's like that, and the steaks are like the plastic, the vacuum pad. They don't know what's flying. Unbelievable. We take it for granted. If you could poke a hole, I don't know how you do that. I never tried. It would seem extremely difficult. But if with your finger you could like poke a hole into the meat, that's okay. And then Rashi goes in to say, this is uvdi d'chol. This looks like something you do in the weekday. Can't do it. But with your finger, it's okay. You're not allowed to leave the basar shenesalam min ha'ayin if you have meat that wasn't watched over. Maybe they switched it out. Like that famous story that halavayit happened, didn't have. I mean, it's a ma'aser shkamatoya. Like the guy in the plane, he went to wash his hands on the plane, and he came back and he realized that he had his sandwich that was basar shenesalam min ha'ayin. So he didn't eat it. He put it aside. So then the guy next to him, the gentleman next to him, said, "Sir, Rabbi, I noticed you didn't eat your sandwich. Why didn't you eat your sandwich?" He says, "Oh no, we have a law that if you don't watch your sandwich, you can't eat it." He says, "Oh, when you left, I stuck a piece of pork in there. I wanted to see what happens to a rabbi that eats pork." Kids, we said over the Maisa once, and somebody said it's a baloney Maisa. Rabbi Kohnetsky's grandson is here. Where is he? No, he's not here. We'll ask him. Oh, here he is. Yoel, is it true? Yoel Steiner's a grandson. No, right with the Rabbi Kohnetsky. He doesn't want to say anything. No, did not happen with Rabbi Kohnetsky. I'm telling you. It was baloney. I said bedavka that, by the way. No, yo, it's true. Do they say it about your grandfather? Never heard that one. He doesn't want to put you on the spot. The story, no, they said it's about a Magachir or Shiva somewhere. Then we found that it's a Gishmak in Maisa.
I don't think Rabbi Yaakov was on a plane alone ever like that.
Right. Rabbi Yaakov was never on a alone plane, and he wouldn't be over on Bashas and Salman. He wouldn't leave a sandwich. And he didn't eat, okay, whatever. They never identified. It's a great story. Well, you are allowed to make a special simon in the meat. And of course, Rabbi Avram Weisfish, we have a picture of him soon. Here's the simon that they used to make. And if you look in your Rashi, there's a little picture there. Not exactly sure why Rashi felt in this particular case to put a picture, but if you want to know what a triangle looks like, look in Rashi. Now, my chavrusa asked me, how come my Rashi, he asked me if I scribbled inside. So I looked at his is a triangle with it looks like it's hollow. So I just told him, maybe people think that you have to hollow it out. Like a real triangle, like one of those triangles you put when your car gets broke, it breaks down on the highway. So mine, they filled it up. The whole thing. Here, Ravon Beitzah sent me a picture of I don't know how you do it, like to every piece of meat. Could you do it to ribeye also? Like certain things just wouldn't work out.
What's this?
Here, triangle, like this. Here. Sort of a triangle. Look, it's not going to be... Rashi's a real triangle. This is more practical with meat. How are you going to... So when you bring this home, when your wife sees this, she realizes, okay, this was shamur, this is kosher, it's like a plumber. Fine. Reb Chia v'Reb Shimon b'Rebbe. Two friends. Now it's interesting, I'm pretty sure I saw this today in Reb Zilberstein's Sefer on this sugya. He brings this Gemara and he says that they were brothers. And I think it's a mistake. I don't know. Okay. Ayin Sham and Reb Zilberstein, but Reb Chia, Reb Shimon, Rebbe, Shoyklim Mana Keneged Mana B'Yantav. They divided stuff up. So what do? They put it on a scale. They put a portion against a portion. You get one, I get the other. Keman, like Reb Yehuda, like Rabbanan. This doesn't go like anyone we know. Why? You could do so only like here. You're gonna put a piece of meat on one side and something else, something heavy on the other side. You can't do it with meat. You can't put two pieces of meat one on the other because that's what you do in the weekday if you're dividing stuff up. Rabbanan say you can't even hide it from mice. You can't use the scale at all. So who do they go like? They went with a third shita called Rabbi Shua, the sign Rabbi Shua Omer, Shaiklin Mana, Keneged Mana B'Yantav. You could weigh one piece of meat against another piece of meat and divide it. Omer Rabbi Yosef Alach Rabbi Shua. I'll prove to you that the halach is like this shita, like Rabbi Chia, Rabbi Shimon, Rebbe did. Because there's an anonymous Mishnah in B'chayres like that. It's not, and it says in the Mishnah. Psulei B'gdoshim and awesome like this. So it goes like this. Rabbi Yisai, very, very pasha. If you have a carbon, let's say you have a shlamim that has a mum. That has a defect, you can't bring it on the mizbeach. So what do? You redeem it. The halacha is that since who's going to benefit from you redeeming it for the most money? Hegdish. Now, at the end of the day, it's a little shver, okay, but Hegdish doesn't really, because they will. Because the more money you get, the more you're gonna flip it into the next down. They're gonna gain, at the end of the day, they're gonna gain. Fine. However, how do you get the most money? By weighing the meat, like a butcher weighs the meat. But that's disrespectful to Kachim. We allow that to happen. Now, when the animal has a psul and you redeem it, it loses most of its kedusha. You could eat the animal, you could sell it to regular people. It has a little bit of, teeny bit of kedusha. You can't work it, you can't shear its wool. But for the most part, it's not kaddish anymore after you redeem it. But we allow you to sell it and disrespect it, so to speak, put it on a scale like people throw around the meat in a butcher shop, even though it's kachim, so that Hegdish, the Beis HaMikdash will benefit at the end of the day. They'll make more money. When it comes to B'char, we were just discussing B'char the other day. Firstborn, who does it go to? The Kain. Beis HaMikdash is not going to gain anything. So if you allow the B'char to be, there's no reason to disrespect the meat of B'char and Meiser. Because at the end of the day, the only person benefiting it is a civilian, not the Beis HaMikdash. It's just a Kain. So it says like this: Psulei Hamikdashim and also Hegdish. The benefit goes to Beis HaMikdash. V'shayklin, when it comes to B'char, shayklin mana keneged mana b'B'char. You could weigh one portion opposite another portion on the scale. Now B'char, we just said, we don't allow you to weigh on a scale because you can't disrespect the B'char. There's no reason to this. But we said on the flip side, you could weigh one portion against another portion. So you see that two portions being weighed by a B'char is not a big deal. It's not disrespectful. We allow it by a B'char. We don't allow you to weigh it with weights. So Mela, from here you see this halacha like Rabbi Shua. It's not disrespectful. It's not something you do. Says the Gemara, what's the connection? We're talking about Yontif. Could you weigh on Yontif? And bring a raya from B'char. We allow it in B'char. Rabbi Shua says, by us, by Yontif, there's no, you're not embarrassing anything. Maybe Rabbi Yeshua won't agree that you're allowed to weigh one portion against another portion. Maybe that's considered bizayin. Over here, we're not talking about bizayin. Over here, we're talking about a malacha. Is it considered over the dechal? Is it something you do during the weekday? Not. It's not about bizayin. It's not about disrespecting it. And if, on the flip side, Over there, you can't bring a raya from Bukhar to over here, because over here we're talking about Uvdin Chol, over there we're talking about Kachin. So the Gemara just goes into this. L'meimra, the Kapti Adadi. You tell me that Reb Chia, Reb Shimon, why were they measuring like that? You take 1/2 pound, I'll take a 1/2 pound. What's the difference? Why are we sitting there with the scale? Who does something like that? V'hanu shav b'nei Yasa, there was 7 fish. The Asal bei Rebbe, they came to the house of Rebbe. V'shtaga chamish minayu bei Reb Chia. Reb Chia grabbed 5 fish. V'lo kabe Reb Shimon b'Rebbe. Reb Shimon b'Rebbe got his 2, and he got 5. And even though it was his father, Reb Shimon b'Rebbe was his father, he didn't care. There's a whole nida now. You're allowed to take food without permission. If you know the person doesn't care, okay. Omer Apap. Shedigaver benayu. Let's change up the names a little bit. Reb Chia, Reb Shmuel, Reb Yosi, Reb Shimon, Rebbe, Ubar Kapara. It's either Reb Chia, but not Reb Shimon Rebbe. Rather, the second one, the partner over here, is Reb Shmuel, Reb Yosi. So they were more makbid. Or if you want to go with Reb Shimon Rebbe as one of them, so you have to go with Bar Kapara. But Reb Chia and Reb Shimon Rebbe were good friends. They weren't makbid with each other. They had a lot of, I think the Rashi says that they loved each other. So Mela, it doesn't make sense that they sat there with a scale and measured to the ounce. Zog the.
Like the story that you said before.
Yeah.
It was Rabbi Yaakov, it was someone else.
What?
We tell the story, so you get corrected afterward. It wasn't him, it was him.
Like that. Yeah, okay. I hear. But at the end of the day, the Gemara uses the names, just not the two of them together. Okay. The official Mishnah, sponsored by official Refuas and Yeshuos, Bas Yente Devorah. Ein mashchizin esasakin biyontev. You cannot sharpen a knife on yontev. So, very interesting. So, first of all, let's see if I have. Rabbi Avram Weisfish, of course, sent me a picture of himself sharpening a knife. Here we go. This is what it's not the greatest picture of Rabbi Avram. He is sharpening. No, this is a reflection of his tie. It looks good. It's great. It looks like he's cutting his tie. Yeah. So that's picture number 1. Very interestingly, this tzaddik right over here sends me an email. I don't know if it was on purpose. Let's assume it was on purpose, that he went ahead in the daf, 3 daf ahead, and just so happened to send me this picture. If it's not on purpose, it's a huge coincidence. Yoel Kramsky from Detroit. It says, the subject, all it says is, Yoel Kramsky from Detroit doing the daf. And it says, B'siyad Shmai, a good mayad. He's showing me that he's doing the daf. What's interesting about the picture is that he has the video playing here. The cord is around the knife, one of these knives, and a bunch of pulkis over here. But what is he doing over here? Look what he's doing. He's sharpening a knife. It's a crazy coincidence. I got this literally a few hours before Yontif. He's sharpening the knife right here. So I don't know. I think it was a coincidence. I don't think he did it on purpose, but I hope that it's a much better story. But yeah, we're down like Kafschus, but Rabbi say, you think I'm going to let you do this whole sugya like this? A picture of a guy cutting his tie? No way. I want to show you something very interesting. Let me see here. Where's my bag, Yeshua? Oh no. Is there a bag? Did he bring a bag over there? He schlepped a bag. Where's the bag? Now he's getting, I don't need it now. It should be here. Where is it? Okay. Stuff is scary stuff. Look at this. This is a shchita knife. No, where's that bag? Did he bring it? Is there a bag over there in the kitchen? I'll go get it myself. Somebody call Yeshua, ask him, please, ask Yeshua what he did with my bag that he brought here. Where is it? So where is it? He's not here. He's not here. He's just not here. So this is a chicken knife. Yeah, call him. It's okay. Put him on. I need that thing. That's the main part. The stones. Where is it? Okay, good. So this Rabbi Isai is what they shech chickens with. This costs about $250. This knife, but I'm not showing you this one. This is child's play. What I want to show you is this knife right over here. I didn't need that. You guys need this. All right. This is a knife. Oh. Shkoyach Yeshua for putting that in the kitchen. Right where I wanted it. This is also child's play. Let me show you a real knife. This, they shecht lamb with. Shkoyach. Thank you. See this? Unbelievable. But this is garnished. Because we're talking about sharpening knives here. Oh, Tazoy, now we're talking. This, Rabbi Isai, this cuts. This, I'm scared to look at this. This probably killed 100,000 cows. This is 30 years old. A real shaychet, the neighborhood shaychet. So anyway, it doesn't come very sharp. And what they do is, they have a whole thing with these stones. Here, let me show you if I can. Here, hold this a second. This knife, Rabbi Isai, cost over $750. It's made by a Frum Yid. He's not alive anymore. Let me see. Hold on. I got to put this away from it. You know what? You take out these stones. Come here. Okay. So. What is this? Why do you bring this to shear? Here, pull it out. Let's see what happens. No. Is it sharp? No. Does he know what he's doing? We don't need an injury here on live shear. Okay, fine. Michael, I believe, I don't know the exact. You want to fight? This is not what. You know what? This is good. We're going to leave this for later. This shamnunas. Great. But anyways, you take this stone and you go like this. I'm not going to do it, but you go back, forth, something like this. And then you do it on the other side. And then they have a whole series of these stones. These are nice, expensive stones. No water. I don't know water. They have different things. And that's how, this is hashchaza. You go like this. I don't know the exact motion. Don't quote me. The bottom line is it becomes extremely, extremely sharp. And then it's pretty gross if you ever watch it. They take their nail and they go, I don't recommend it to anybody. And that's what we're discussing here. Could you do this on Yontif? Says the Mishnah, Ei mashchizin sisakim b'Yontif. Avo masiyo al gabe chaverta. You could go like this, one on the other. Okay.
You do that again, but look at the camera.
What is this? A TV show? We're learning Gemara here. Amar Avona. Loishanu ella b'mash. Hold on for him. Is that okay? Yosef, you good?
We'll see the results.
Now he's going to take all of those and make a whole thing out of that. Okay. Okay, so very, very simple sugya. I made it a little bit more confusing than the sugya itself. Stam for the fun. I can't put this down. I have to hold it. You know what? Let me get rid of this for a second. I hope this guy's not watching the shir. There's like chalishing. I have his knife. They had it for 30 years. He's the guy that shechted the sheep for us. They bought us a sheep. Bought me a sheep for Mesechtes. No, Chulin was Chulin. They brought a sheep into the siyum, and then he just grabbed it and he shechted it on the spot outside, and Abi stole the meat. So it says like this. Yeah, leave it. Doesn't hurt. Basically, we have four simple sayings here. No, that you can leave. Leave that out because I'm going to need that. Even osir. To do it with a stone like this is osir. So what we can learn from that is, and the Gemara says, what does it mean? What's osir? What part is osir? L'chadid. To sharpen. Which would mean that if it's wood, it would be allowed to even sharpen. If a stone is osir, to do what? To sharpen. So wood is mutter to sharpen. Or, we learned this. Wood is mutter. To do what? Shamnunis. So Shamnunis, you see this grossness on the Factor knife? Dr. Factor is a plastic surgeon. And this is what his tools look like. I don't. You're a mile? Yeah.
Only for adults.
I didn't want to say anything. I hope nobody heard that. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say it, but we're alive. You said it. Great. I hope nobody heard it. Eitz mutter, to take off the grease, the terrible stuff that Dr. Factor left this on his knife. This is what he has. Fine. Listen, this won't kill you, but you'll need a tetanus shot afterwards or something. Fine. Now, based on just this line, that you're allowed to use wood, it comes out that a stone is osir, but we only know one halacha. For the grease. Only to take off grease. Fine. Next. Then we have, it's osir lahashchiz, meaning you're not allowed to sharpen. And the Gemara tells us that it's for sharpening. Lahashchiz, you can't use a sharpening stone, one of these guys, to sharpen. But it comes out that if you use your friend, use another knife, that's mutter. And then finally we say, on top, using a friend is mutter, so what comes out from that? What does it mean? Mutter to do what? To sharpen or grease? Grease. If so, if you're going to use a sharpening stone, then grease is also. Those are the four things. Let's see it inside. I know it's more confusing than it is. This that we said you can't sharpen on Yontiv means doing professionally. Here's beautiful. I can't believe you let me have all these. He's using them. He's going to work tomorrow morning. You got to get it to him tomorrow morning. This is Mashchezeh 7. Literally, this is what they did in those days that they do today. And when you buy these knives, they don't come sharp. They come very dull and they sit there for hours, back, forth. There's a story I'll say for the guys in Borough Park. What's his name? Right, yeah, it's one of those. The Eli Melech. What's his last name? Lezins, right. Lezins. He came to a certain shul, and all the sheikhim came out to show him the knives. You know what? It's not even for here. It's for later. The halacha is that you have to show the knives to a chacham. Okay, we'll say this. Jump the story. We'll say it now because I'm going to forget it later. So what did they do? They knew he's coming, so they all ran and they started sharpening the knives real good. And then they showed it to him. There's one sheikhet that said to himself, "Listen, why should I act differently than I act with the Rebbeinu Shalom? When he's not here, I don't sharpen it that. It's good enough for Hashem. I'm going to leave it as is and show it to him." So he showed him the knife and he looked at it and he said, "Oh, if it's good enough for Hashem, it's good enough for me." You chap the Beitzah? You're not Hasidish, you don't chap. Okay. In other words, he had Ruach HaKodesh. She knew. Okay. Now you chap. This is Litvak. Mutter. The Mishnah is only talking about the professional way. This is what you're not allowed to sharpen on Yontif with this. But if you just want to use a piece of wood, that's okay. That's enough of a shinoi. Doesn't look like uvdi l'chol. We're fine. Omar Rav Yehuda Shmuel, another way. Hold the Amr Shalevin Asur. This now, sorry, we're going into Rav Huna. Rav Huna said Evan. Now, what's Asur in Evan? Hold the Amr Shalevin Asur. That's only to sharpen. Mutter. Just to remove a little bit of the. It's like washing a knife on it's mutter on yantiv. You let it take off the fat. Michlal the b'shal eight. Afilu echad and nami mutter. Comes out that if you're using, it's only usher to use a stone to sharpen. But if you're using and shamnunis is mutter even on a stone, meaning when it comes to wood, it's even to sharpen is mutter. And some say this goes on the end. Mishal eitz mutter. It says in the Mishnah you're allowed to use. No, it doesn't say. In Rav Huna it says shal eitz mutter. You're allowed to use wood. Omer Rav Yehuda Omer Shmuel, on that he says, shal eitz mutter. You're allowed to use wood. Don't think to yourself that you're allowed to use the wood for everything, even to sharpen it. No, it's only to remove the fat. So this gives us huge chumrah here. With wood it would be aser to sharpen the knife. And then from there I'm going to be medayik even more. The worst of the worst. According to this diuk, it comes out that to remove the fat, which really constitutes cleaning a knife on yantiv, would be aser to clean the fats off the knife with a stone. The mamish looks like uvdi l'chol. People will think, why are you using this? If you saw somebody cleaning a knife with one of these, what would you think? You think you're sharpening. So mainly, even though your intent was to remove the fats, it's still awesome. And some say on the Mishnah, it says in our Mishnah, you can't sharpen a knife. The whole issue is to sharpen al mutter, but to remove the fats, it's mutter. Comes out that one knife on another knife, that nobody thinks anything. It's not over the chol. Nobody does that typically on a weekday. It's crazy to do it. You probably ruin both of your knives. So it says in the Mishnah, our Mishnah, the one line Mishnah, you're allowed to use its friend. You're allowed to use knife on top of knife. The whole heter to use another knife is to remove the dirt from the knife. It's also to sharpen. You hear there's 4 ways to be medayik. Bottom line, 4 ways to be medayik. Comes out that if you're using a real stone, even, and this is the chumrah that we had before from the Beitzah, the same thing comes out, that to remove fat from a knife on yantiv with a stone is also because people think that you're sharpening it. Who says that you're not allowed to sharpen a knife? Now, what's the isser? So, in the Mishnah, I should have pointed it out. Why is it also to use a knife, to sharpen a knife? What's the isser? Where's the isser? I do that all the time. I get all excited to show you the picture and the thing, and I forget the halacha. The halacha is because it's a machshirei oichlim. You're allowed to cook on Shabbos, but you're not allowed to make the knife to cook on Shabbos. On Yontif, sorry, did I say you're allowed to cook on Shabbos? You're not allowed to cook on Shabbos, sorry. No, there's a whole group of people now in New York that are cooking on Shabbos. Ali said. No.
They're watching this shit now.
Yeah. You're allowed to cook on Yontif for Oichel Nefesh. But Machshiri Oichel Nefesh, the step before that is not mutter, says Rabbi Yehuda. Sorry. The matter Machshiri Oichel Nefesh. Yehuda says you're allowed to sharpen a knife for Oichel Nefesh. So maybe our mission doesn't go according to Rabbi Yehuda. Rava says to his father-in-law of Chizda, is it true that you say that Allah is like Rabbi Yehuda? That it's permitted. He's mechulik on the Mishnah. You're allowed to do machshiri oichel on Yontif. You're allowed to sharpen a knife in order to get food to cook on Yontif. Yes, halavai, I did. In fact, you should always say these beautiful things in my name. Oh, my Rebbe Nechemia, Bereder Rav Yosef. Havakim the Kamei the Rava. So Nehemiah, the son of Refuas, says, I saw Rava. V'havo koma aber l'sakina apuma didikula. He was sharpening the knife on a basket. We just turned to Chav Amud Beis, sponsored by the MDY Tehillim. For all those who need Shidduchim, Refuas and Yeshuos, please join us at the Tehillim 8mindaf.com. Sponsored by Natan Khoshnood for zechus for my children. I Calev ben Devorah Yisrael, Yaakov ben Devorah. Should do well in Eretz Yisrael. Have a cheshik for Torah, mitzvahs, and Yerushalayim. So I said, I see him going like this, back and forth on the basket. So I ask him, what are you doing over here? It's one of the two things. Are you sharpening a knife or are you trying to clean the knife? He lied to him. He said, I'm trying to remove the oil. And I saw I could tell. So what did he ask him? He wanted to hear the halacha from him. Look, guys cleaning, there's one way to clean, you go back and forth this way, and there's another way when you only do the edge. That's sharpening. I could tell that he's sharpening. Because Savar halacha ve'ein morim kain. The halacha is that you're permitted to sharpen it, but you don't tell people. You don't tell anybody. So, because at the end of the day, it's a very delicate halacha. Why? Rabbi Yehuda allows machshiri oichel. You hear God? Machshiri oichel. Rabbi Yehuda permits doing a malacha to get to the knife so that I have food, but only when you couldn't do it before Yom Tov. So start telling regular folks, Amaratzim, you're allowed to sharpen the knife, but only on condition that you couldn't sharpen it before Yom Tov. Okay, no, it's going to get lost. And Memela, don't tell people about this halacha, just say it's us to sharpen a knife, it's us to do this, a malacha like that. I was in front of Rabba. Another, like a sharpening stone. And I told him, same exact story. What are you trying to do, Rebbe? You trying to sharpen it or remove the oil? Again, he lied to him. He said, you see from here that you're allowed to lie for these kind of things. He said, no, I'm trying to clean the knife. Even to another gadol, he didn't tell him. I could tell that he was trying to sharpen the knife. And Rabbah held that the halacha is you're allowed to sharpen, that's why he sharpened, but you don't tell the common folk. Could you go to the Meidach? No, they're going to make fun of me now. I forgot the name. Are you allowed to go to the Chacham to show me your knife? Again, because you cannot use a knife unless the Chacham saw it. Make sure it doesn't have a nick and it's kosher. Rav Mori, could you go on Yom Tov? So the shaila is, Rashi again talks about uvda dechal. Others say that's misakim mana. You have a knife that you can't use, and when you go to the Chacham, it becomes mutter to use. It's like taking trumas and meisers on Shabbos Yom Tov. Rav Mori bereder Rav Bizna Shari, Rav Boran Asri, Machloikis, Rav Yosef Omar, Talmud Chacham Royal Atzmoy. If you yourself are a Talmud Chacham, you have the right to look at the knife and check it and say that it's kosher. And then you allow other people. So you have a trick here. Since you can't go to the Rav on Yom Tov, and you don't have a knife, so what do? You go to the Rav that has a knife, and he'll check his own knife, and then he'll lend it to you. You have a knife that became dull. You're allowed to sharpen it. It works. You're just making it better. So that's mutter. It's only if you're able to use it, like pushing hard, and it'll work. But once it stops working, then you're not allowed to sharpen it because now you're creating a new knife. You have all these things. You have a knife that has a nick in it. You have a skewer that broke. You have a tan of a kirayim. Where's the tan of a kirayim? Oh, here. Oh. But be careful with these guys. Your brothers, they're next door neighbors. You got to be very careful. Okay, so where do we have? We have a tanur and a kirayim. They're the same thing basically. This is a single burner. Could hold one pot. Kirayim is plural. Could hold two. Same thing. The point is, I'm doing here a machshir to get to whatever I need to get. I need to remove the coals, clean it out. I need to sharpen up the knife, sharpen up my skewer. Are you allowed to? The only difference between Shabbos and Yontif is the fact that you're allowed to cook food for oichel nefesh on Yontif. Rabbi Yehuda matir af machshiri oichel nefesh. Rabbi Yehuda holds even the step before is mutter, like sharpening the knife. My time at the Tanakama. Why do they say sharpening the knife is asur? Makro hu levado yasa lochem. So we had this already a number of times in the Masechta. We're talking about oichel nefesh. What's the pasuk? Achasher ya'achel l'chol nefesh. Hu levadoi, only oichel, linefesh, food. That's the only thing you're allowed to. Hu v'loy machshirov, the food, okay, but not the knives. Rabbi Yehuda Makro, it says in the pasuk lochem, lochem l'chol tzorchechem. So now the Gemara has to explain. They learn from the who, he learns from lochem. Why? But what are they going to do? It says lochem. It's for your benefit, whatever you need. Also, something that we have. You're allowed to cook for your family, but not for the non-Jew. But what are they going to do? What's Rabbi Yehuda going to do? It says who? Only food, not knives. Rabbi Yehuda will explain ksiv hu, ksiv lochem. And here he explains the halacha that he said. Yes, you're permitted even the hechsher loichel nefesh, even the step before, even the knife, provided that you didn't have a choice in the matter. You couldn't do it before Yontif. And that's a very tricky thing. That's why you see that Rabbi didn't want to say this halacha. And who else was it that didn't want to say this halacha? Rava and Rabbi both didn't want to say this halacha because it's complicated. You have to know, were you able to do this before Yontif or not? Everybody's going to say, yeah, I couldn't do it. That's why, Rebbe, I'm sharpening my knife now because I couldn't. I didn't have the knife before. Okay. Shaput shenirtzaf. I wanted to bring a shaput, I forgot. I don't even know if I had one. But anyway, a piece of metal, skewered, bent. Also, the Takdim Yontif, you're not allowed to straighten it out. Pshito. You can do it with your own hand. You don't need to take a special, fixing a horseshoe. You need all these tools no. You take it's a little. Anybody could bend it. A kid could bend it. Even so, you're not allowed to do it on Yontif. You take a skewer and you put it on the grill. What does it look like when it's done? It's kind of gross. So it becomes muktzah. Also, you're not allowed to do anything with it. Oh, so we have to remember this. The sugya is brought down a few times in Shas, and it's very, very interesting. The first time that I had the sugya with the chevra is on the second day of the shir. V'zara daf choftas. I don't remember it from them, and I don't think I made it charted. But the second time we had it, I don't remember what Masechta was, but we had it again, and that chart is from them. That what? Rav Malkiyoi, there's two Amaroi. One is Malkiyoi, and one is Malkiyah. Malkiyah and Malkiyoi. So Rav Malkiyoi says that the shapud, the skewer, comes with halacha, Shomtoi umanichoi bekeren zavas. Now from the words, you wouldn't really understand 100% what's going on here. But Rashi explains that you're metaltel, tiltum atzad. No, you don't touch it. You're not touching the skewer. You take something else, you push the skewer into the corner quickly, and that's how you get rid of it. You put it, throw it in a corner, but not with your hand. Provided that has kazayis bus, or if it has a little meat on it, then you let it push it. But if it doesn't have any meat on it, then even with another kli, you cannot push it into the corner. You're allowed to move it. This is a sharp metal object. It could cause severe pain, even more than like stepping on a piece of Lego. If you step on one of these shapudim, it could like go deep into your foot. So it's no worse than a thorn, that you're allowed to move a thorn less than 4 amas. Stop, less than 4 amas. Keep on going 4 amas until you get it out of the way. Like a piece of glass. What? No, it's mos. Yeah, you just pulled it off the grill. It's full of fat and disgustingness. Nobody wants to look at it. Like a dirty plate. Because you need it. You're saying you're gonna use it again? If you're gonna use it again, maybe you're right. If you're gonna need it again, yeah. All right, we're gonna fine. Shapud, shvachos, v'gumois, Rav Malkioi. So here it is. We want to make a siman. We have 2 very similar Amoraim in Shas, and here are the 6 halachas that they said. 3 and 3. Shapud, shvachos, gumois, bloirus, efer, gvina. Now, why are they blue and red? Because that's the next. The pshat in the Gemara is all the blues is from the Amoraim, and the reds are from the Tanaim, Mishnayos and Brises. So he says like this. Let's try to get. We have time a little bit, so we'll try to say what these things mean. They're cool halachas. Shapud, shvachos, v'gumois. Shapud is what we just said, right? Shapud, according to Rav Malkiah, said that if you have a skewer, you push it with another kli or something into the corner. Shvachos is that if a woman has even 100 slaves, she comes into the marriage with a lot of slaves, the husband could make her work, force her to do something with her life, and not sit back. And Rashi says, very interesting, women who are bored brings them to znus and bad things. So that's why you can tell your wife, get a job. Yeah, I know that you don't have to work because you have a trust fund and you have all these servants, but I don't want you to be a prutza. Fine. Gumos. When it comes to what? No, with this, you take this and then you talk. Fine.
Well, my wife's not watching the share.
I hope my wife is watching the share.
Your wife works, his doesn't, and that's the. I don't know what to say about my wife. I'm not just gonna. If she watches. Tomorrow she'll get a job. She doesn't watch that. Okay, gumos. Now today's different. They have anikos. They have this. They have to cook for Shabbos. They have a lot of guests. It's different. They're very busy. Shopping is very busy. Gumos is, we know shtei sayros makes a kid a gadol. If there's gumos, there's pores. Even if there's no sayros, you can tell that there was sayros there. And they're a gadol. Bloirus. Ooh, this is a good one. So I was looking for. I had a picture from a Masechta. I don't remember where it was. I looked through hundreds of pictures tonight. I couldn't find it. Baruch Hashem, I couldn't find it. I found a much better one. Bloirus. Here it is. They used to shave and leave like a pony in the back for Avodah Zarah. He's a Daf share. Yeah. So.
Daf symbol in there.
Right over here. Tattoo on his head. So the halacha is, if you are a Jewish barber, you're not allowed to do this because this is Avodah Zarah. So you have to give him 3 fingers in all directions. The 3 fingers. You have to. Obviously, he's not going to use you again. But this is what you do. And just this Shabbos, I think it was Rabbi Sussman who was telling me, there's a bacher that the barbers here, they have a dilemma because a lot of people do 0-0 and if you're a barber from barber, halachically you shouldn't be doing that. Could be issa deraisa to cut off, to do 0-0 on somebody. And there's a bacher that was a very good barber, his Talmud, very good barber, and the guy said, on condition that you do these 0-0, half the community likes the stuff. Kids it's the style now. They go the buzz over here and he said no, he wouldn't take the job. Lamaisa, then he hired him, and those kids, they have to go to a different barber. He won't do that. But okay, anyway, here's the halacha. You cannot give a guy here, don't say it's his problem, it's his. No, you're helping him with the isser, and that's usser. Okay, what else? Gvina. Oh, that was the halacha. That was, remember? From Schoenberg. From Avodah Zarah. Why is cheese from a non-Jew usser? Because they coat it in lard. I remember you discussed it with me back then. Fine. So that's that. Says the Gemara. Those are the halachas that belong to each one. 3 for Malkiyah, 3 for Malkiyah. What did I skip? Afer. Afer is that if somebody has a wound, open wound, don't put in ashes there, because when the wound heals and the ashes are in there, it leaves a mark and it'll look like tattooed, and it's awesome. Says the Gemara, Rav Papa Omar. Let's read it again. Omar Rav Shaput Shvachos V'Gumos Rav Malkiyah. Beloyers ever make Gina Rav Malkiyah. Rav Papa Omar Masnisin Masnita. So that's Rav Papa says it goes by the Mishnah and the Beitzah, which are the reds, are Rav Malkiyah, and the blues, which are the Amorim, are Rav Malkiyah. So Masnisin Rav Malkiyah, Shmaitzer Rav Malkiyah. V'simanach, how do you remember it? Masnisin Malkasa. The Mishnah, the reds, are Malkiyah, which is more feminine, not Malkiyah. Malkiyah is like a Malka, like a queen. My benayu, iki benayu shvachos. Because shvachos is in the Mishnah. So the Mishnah needs to be over here. This needs to be red. Now what happens to Afer? Does Afer go back to Malkiyah? Is it 3 against 3? Or if I bring shvachos over here, it becomes 4 against 2. You hear the shayla? Rav Malkiyah is all red. He gets the reds. So shvachos goes into his column. Now what happens to Afer? Does Afer stay in his column or not? Rashi says, and I don't think I learned the pshat like that back in the day when I did this chart, so that's why I need a new chart for tonight. This is what Rashi says. I hope it's not too confusing. He says, shvachos goes over here, and Afer stays over here. So Rav Malkiyah gets 4. Loiris, Afer, Shvachos, Gvina, and Rav Malkiyah gets only 2. These 2. Shapud and Gumois. Not everybody learns like Rashi, but that's how Rashi learns. Should we do a little bit more? What time is it? How long are we learning? It's late? Oh, Doilim's tired. Okay, fine. See you tomorrow, Beitzah Hashem.